The Premier League's top 10 goalscoring midfielders. The list of truly top-level players that have plied their trade in the Premier League since it officially came into being in 1992-93 is impressive indeed, and that list only continues to grow given the vast amounts of wealth that steadily flows into the top flight of English football. Though there are many greats of the beautiful game that have never crossed the channel and preferred the likes of La Liga, Serie A, and the Bundesliga over what England has to offer, those that found their footing either as foreign imports or homegrown talents that perfected their craft in front of goal will always be remembered fondly by lifelong supporters and neutral fans alike. Here is the star-studded top 10 list of goalscoring midfielders in Premier League history. Note, all information and data via PremierLeague.com. Yaya Toure will remain one of the greatest players to ever come out of the Ivory Coast, but also one of the greatest midfielders to ever play in the Premier League. He helped usher in an era of true dominance in the blue half of Manchester that persists to this day, and his goalscoring exploits were a large part of that. His 20-goal season in 2013-14 stands as a testament to his influence. One of the smoothest players to ever ply his trade for Arsenal, and in the Premier League, Robert Pires was part of a core under Arsene Wenger that provided arguably the most attractive brand of football to ever be seen in the history of the league. Though he was overshadowed by countryman and colleague Thierry Henry, Pires was a star in his own right and absolutely lethal in the final third. Probably the most recognizable face in the modern era of English football and a player who helped truly define the Premier League since its inception, David Beckham's legacy is so much more than the iconic way he struck a football or his perfectly curled crosses into dangerous areas. He truly touched hearts and minds across the world. He just happened to do it while scoring fair few goals in the process. Part of a cadre of Icelandic footballers that helped put the small Nordic nation on the European footballing map, Gylfi Sigurdsson is perhaps higher on this list than maybe would have remembered given how quietly he collected his goals across a credible Premier League career. He was absolutely fantastic for Swansea City, producing some of the best football of his career while in Wales. An absolute thorn in the side of many, and maintaining the knack of popping up with crucial goals in critical moments, Kevin Nolan was a faithful servant for Bolton, Newcastle, and West Ham, while making over 500 appearances in the Premier League, scoring goals all along the way. Though highly effective while at Newcastle and West Ham, he will probably be remembered more fondly as part of a tricky Bolton outfit under Sam Allardyce that frustrated even the best the league had to offer. Gary Speed was already banging in the goals for Leeds United before the formation of the Premier League, and that trend continued long after his Elland Road days. Many will forget that he had very successful spells in Yorkshire and on Merseyside before heading off to Newcastle, where he was a key cog in a Magpies outfit that regularly was in the European places in the league and stood toe-to-toe with massive clubs on the continent. If one was to extrapolate Matt Le Tissier's career to include his goalscoring exploits before the Premier League era, he would be second on this list. For 6 seasons at Saints, he was an absolute goal-scoring machine at the Dell, which included a 20-goal and 19-goal season from 1989 to 91. He continued in the same vein after 1992, hitting 25 goals in 1993-94 and 20 goals the following season. Many will never have had the chance to watch him in his pomp. He was an absolute gem of a footballer. A Premier League list about midfielders would not be complete without the little ginger maestro that was Paul Scholes. His ironic partnership with Roy Keane in the heart of the Manchester United midfield is a historic staple of the league, and so are many of his goals. From thunderous volleys to close-range tap-ins, Scholes was a chief architect behind so many of the glory years at Old Trafford under Sir Alex Ferguson. Perhaps best known for his solo goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup, Ryan Giggs still, and yet deserves admiration, at least in terms of his footballing ability, given how he helped change the script when it came to the modern winger in the top flight of English football. His goal return speaks volumes to the longevity he enjoyed, even when his career reached its latter stages and he was deployed elsewhere. If there was ever a career that so richly deserved a Premier League winner's medal, it was that of Steven Gerrard. Thankfully, he had the privilege to lift a Champions League trophy in his day, and though he never guided his boyhood club to domestic success in the league, he is, hands down, one of the best midfielders to ever come out of England of any era. His scintillating right foot gave countless Liverpool fans moments of unfathomable joy that they will not yet soon forget. So much of the talk around Frank Lampard these days comes by way of his managerial career, his initial credible stint at Derby, his rise and fall at Chelsea, and now a potential rebirth at Everton. But as a player, what a treat it was to watch him reach an unauthorized 177 goals across a storied career. Much like Alan Shearer's goal record, his record for top-scoring midfielder will likely never be eclipsed, and for good reason. He was truly special.